Have you seen, as far as going from the drought that was here last year to what you're seeing this year?
Never. No,
Really?
This is a first. Yeah.
A record snowpack is melting. Farmers and families are trying to figure out what to do with all that water.
I assumed we had flood insurance, and we do for like plumbing issues, but we did not for natural disasters. So I bought a policy.
This week on The Race, we're showing you the lives altered by the big melt.
We've had to completely rip out all of the carpet because of the water coming through the heating vents.
And what all that water will do for parts of the country recovering from drought.
It's not often you can be surrounded by a lot of snow and be in short sleeves, but that's the situation here in Utah this week. We're by Snow Basin, which is a popular ski area north of Salt Lake City. And this state saw a historic amount of snow this past year. A lot of it's still on the ground, but as the snow is melting, it's turning into water, and that water has to go somewhere. And that is raising some concerns about flooding for the people who live and work in the communities down below.
For as far away as a place more than 8,000 feet above sea level can feel, it's clear in the rushing rivers and flooded farmland of northern Utah how far the reach is of melting snow on communities below.
How often have you seen ducks actually swimming on your
This is a first
land?
here.
This is?
Yeah.
This week, Lonnie Bailey is bracing for the potential of more flooding on his farm. Usually these water-soaked fields would have 6-inch high alfalfa. He shared this video that he took this time last year fertilizing his land. For nearly a month, these acres have been flooded. Warm temperatures in March melted snow in a nearby canyon, sending water onto his farm. For now, he can't grow hay or raise cattle here.
It's devastating to be a month and a half behind schedule.
He says flooding combined with the longer winter that already put him behind means he won't have as much hay to sell this year.
And you talk to all the old timers up here too. They've never witnessed anything like this as well, and especially with snowpack hanging on till, you know, the end of April, snow on the ground. I mean, this is very unusual for us.
Mountains like these in the West act like natural reservoirs, as the U.S. Department of Agriculture describes them. In the winter, they collect water in the form of snow and then release the water when temperatures rise in the spring. But if too much snow melts too fast, it can create the potential for dangerous flooding.
We're really concerned about how fast that snow melt and that runoff is going to happen with the warmer temperatures.
Scott Paxman is the head of the Weber Basin Water Conservancy District. It oversees water levels for multiple reservoirs and waterways north of Salt Lake City.
Following probably the record-setting drought last year, it's greatly appreciated, but we still have to make sure we're protecting life and property. Come over this way, it'll kind of be a little better picture.
He brought us to one of the dams he's in charge of. He tells me since February, they've released roughly 3 times the amount of water from their reservoirs and waterways compared to a typical spring. It's in an effort to make room for the large amount of water that is expected to flow down from the mountains.
So I'm as high as the road, and if it gets that high, then, you know,
It's more problems.
more problem.
Doug Mortensen is relying on the wall that separates the Ogden River from his home.
Do you have any concerns that it's the beginning of the snow melt and it's this
yeah.
strong of a river?
Oh yeah. You know, this is the highest that I've ever seen.
Beyond flooding, there is an increased concern that wet ground could trigger landslides and avalanches, adding to the urgency to make sure all precautions are taken.
And it's just a guessing game. I mean, nobody really knows, but we have some projections.
This is the Ogden River. This water will eventually make its way down into the Great Salt Lake, but you just look at how fast this water is moving. We've talked to people who live in this area, they have for decades, and they say they really have never seen it as powerful as this.
According to one analysis in 2020, about 15 million Americans live in a 100-year floodplain, which means they have a 1% chance of disastrous flooding each year. Millions more live outside the floodplain, but they are still at risk. And Matt Pearl found, for those people, insurance may not cover what you think it does.
Eastern Montana, eastern Kentucky, southern Nevada. None are accustomed to massive floods. All saw floods last summer that took people from their homes, many without insurance.
Insurance is one of those things that most people don't understand. Here I am in the business of understanding risk and housing, and I don't know what's in my insurance policy.
What Dr. Carlos Martin of Harvard University does know, what he studies, is that too many don't know enough about how to insure their homes in case of flooding.
Problem is, a lot of people get their insurance when they're buying a home and they're revealing other decisions that they're making.
It's easy to overlook what we can't see. Most home insurance policies don't cover flooding. Martin and many like him have found people often live with flood risk without realizing it because, for the most part, they can't see it. Research from Pew found that so far this century, there's been at least one flood in our country 8 out of every 10 days. For every flood along the coast, nearly just as many have happened in states that are landlocked, states like Montana, Kentucky, and Nevada.
All states in this country have areas that are susceptible to some kind of flood. I mean, we've seen this happening in the far west, right? Places that have been dry for so long and that may likely still experience extreme drought will be more likely to have flash floods because the soil can't handle any kind of precipitation event. So it's going to be happening all over.
We are living in a time where climate anomalies can seem like everyday occurrences, and they go far beyond floods. This winter, Virginia had its warmest February on record, while Portland, Maine saw its all-time coldest wind chill. California had been dealing with drought until historic snowfall that now puts parts of the state at flood risk.
If you're not taking out your own private insurance and assuming that the cavalry will come save you afterwards, in some cases, cavalry will not be there. And in a lot of cases, the cavalry will cost a lot of money. So it is complicated.
So are the solutions. Many have criticized FEMA's floodplain maps as outdated. FEMA updated its pricing system last year to more accurately reflect the risk. That led to more Americans ditching flood insurance than buying it. It's why Martin spoke in front of Congress this March to say exactly what he said to us. Insurance is complicated. Flood insurance extremely complicated. And there's little clarity virtually anywhere in the process. In Montana, Kentucky, and Nevada, and too many homes in too many places.
The melting snow is causing problems not just here in Utah, but in other parts of the country, including a very popular national park. We'll show you why it's one of the hardest hit areas next on The Race.